So I just want to come here and talk about the lessons I learned in the year 2023. And I'll pick out um I'll pick out a lesson that I learned and go a little bit more in depth in detail about it. But number one is enforce and reinforce my healthy boundaries with spirits and people. Number two, don't be scared to put myself out there more when it comes to my psychic services. And three, everything happens for a reason and definitely no such thing as coincidences. Four, humans suck. And five, money doesn't mean anything. Spend time with loved ones. And that's coming from me being a former store manager at Dollar General. Number six, don't judge a book by its cover, meaning don't judge someone until you get to know them. Number seven, self-love and self-care is so important. And for me, it is time management. That's my self-love and self-care. And number eight, celebrate small victories or wins in life, especially milestones too. Number nine, stand in your power and know when it's the appropriate time to also not stand in your power. Number 10, be honest about yourself and be more mindful who has access to my time and energy. Number 11, learn and acknowledge the signs when it's time to leave a situation. That's a hard one. Number 12, keep working on your triggers or shadow work. And number 13, your spirit team is always there with you. Number 14, no matter how long that loved one has been gone, departed loved one, them being gone still hurts. Grieve as much as you need to grieve. Number 15, your clients and the departed loved ones are one of your biggest teachers when it comes to your mediumship journey. Number 16, be observant and not so quick to pick sides. Number 17, hurt people hurt people. 18, no one has you back like you do. Don't go above and beyond for anyone who won't do the same for you. Give them the same energy back. Number 20, your spirit team is your best protection. So I want to go over number 10, which is be honest about yourself and be more mindful who has access to my time energy. That is one of the hardest lessons I learned this year. Not about being honest about myself, but be more mindful who has access to my time energy. Especially when it comes to giving out free readings. When I give out free readings, that's where people mostly tend to take advantage of me just because it's free. And I don't mind helping people from the bottom of my heart just because I'm a very kind and caring and giving person. That has led me to really be picky on who I give my free readings to, especially my time and energy, just because I have a family and it's not fair to my family where I set up a time and an appointment and date and then the client doesn't show up. So that's why when I offer free services, I will pick whom I'm drawn to. And I feel like even if I pick one who I'm drawn to, they may still not show up on time. So the year 2024, I will plan on definitely to be very, very selective when it comes to free readings. It's sad to say, sorry, it's an Amber Alert. But it's sad to say, but it's true though. Like, people are not very grateful. And then I'll go to the next video. So number 14, no matter how long that loved one has been gone, departed, them being gone still hurts. Grieve as much as you need to grieve. And that is something I'm still learning to do. My best friend has been gone for 9 years. They still come through readings for me here and there, but not as much unless I call them or tell them, hey, come through a reading for me, and they will. So, it really kind of irks me when people say psychic mediums are not humans. We are humans, we have family and loved ones that we lost too, but we just don't talk about it. Unless there are some mediums out there who talk about it, but I don't talk about my personal life just because nobody needs to know about my personal life. And then number 15, it kind of goes back to, which one is it? Number 6, but number 15, your clients and the departed loved ones are one of your biggest teachers when it comes to your mediumship journey. And I feel like that's true though, because it goes back where when you get to know your client on a personal level, or when you bring up information about your client on a personal level, you actually really will find out like, wow, we do have things in common, or they just teach you something. Just something about that reading. It teaches you a little bit more about yourself, about themselves, and your mediumship. Um, but it's mostly the departed loved ones for me though, because they will start, doing things that goes against my boundaries and rules that I already set in place. And then again, it goes back and forth. But I did have a reading one time where again, I already have like the boundaries and rules enforced and in place. And one of the spirits like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then I didn't understand why the spirit was acting the way they were during the reading until midway of the session. And I was like, oh my God, the spirit is telling me to loosen up and have fun and relax and enjoy with my client. And so sometimes you don't need to be an uptight person. Relax, have fun with your client too, So again, it depends what the lesson you need to learn doing that reading too. And sometimes it's not a lesson, or maybe it's just an experience for you to experience your client too. But for me, sometimes I do need to loosen up instead of being like serious all the time, but like, hey, do this and that for me. I need to learn to loosen up and have fun in readings too. So I want to talk about number 20. Your spirit team is your best protection. And I always tell people that too. And I feel like this is like a reminder of myself that my spirit team is the best protection because they know you better than anybody else. Whether you're married, whatever, they know you better than yourself. I like to think. But my imposter syndrome kicks in a lot of time, especially when I feel like I haven't done enough. It's more like when I take care of myself, that's when the imposter syndrome kicks in. And I think that's something I need to stop having. And I feel like even if I quote unquote did stop having, it's still gonna kick in. It's because I always have put others before myself, and when I start putting myself before others, that's when the imposter syndrome kicks in. And I think this is where you need to have a time with your spirit team, sit down and talk, or just talk to them about what's going on and how you feel. And, so that way there's no miscommunication both ends. So your spirit team really is your best protection. Lean on them, build a relationship and bond with them. And most of all, respect them too. Number 7, self-love and self-care is so important. And for me, my self-love and self-care is time management. Obviously, I'm going to go ahead and be one of those people where I blame it on my zodiacs. I'm a Capricorn stellium, so you know how Capricorns are. But there's still no excuses. But I am definitely doing way much better on time management from the beginning of 2023 till now. So I am very proud of myself. Which goes back to number 8. Celebrate the small victories in life. Even the small milestones too included. It's important to celebrate them because there's no such thing as small details or nothing too small in my eyes. And number 12, keep working on your triggers or shadow work. I think that's pretty much self-explanatory, but for me, my triggers are sometimes a song. A specific song is my trigger, but now looking back at it, it doesn't trigger me as much. I think it's just the memories attached to that song is a trigger. Things that people do or say, it depends what it is. It can be a trigger, but let's just say that when people talk about chakras or Reiki or yoga, things that are culturally appropriated, it irks me just because it feels like they don't respect other people's cultures or beliefs. And growing up, I have being Asian, growing up, I have a lot of people disrespecting me and my culture and my race, just overall disrespect. So it triggers me. So that is something I will have to keep working on is the cultural operation and just keep working on my triggers and shadow work. I feel like no matter how far we are in our practice, how old we are, there's still going to be some triggers and shadow work needs to be done. So it's never really ending. So whoever is out there says that they're completely healed, don't believe them. They're liars. And I just want to end it here, you know, in a reminder to what number 17 I learned this year as a lesson that hurt people. I would like to see less projection by other people, or you projecting onto other people. I just like to see less projections overall in general, because there's so much hate and chaos in this world as it is. We all should come together as one, or try to come together as one, and, you know, work together rather than against each other. But maybe that's just one of my crazy dreams and hopes about the future one day. Who knows? But yeah, hurt people. I can't really say anything else about that, but this is definitely one of my biggest lessons I learned.